On the count of five, four, three, two, one, we are live. Hello and welcome to PropTechBuzz, a business podcast on global PropTech, where we talk to PropTech founders and CEOs from all over the world and learn from them how they build and manage successful PropTech companies. Today, I'm thrilled to have with me Govind. Govind Rai is the co-founder of Insomniacs. Insomniacs is India's first real estate-focused content marketing, data analytics, and technology network. I took that description from their LinkedIn page and we'll have Govind break that down for us. Govind also has a podcast on PropTech and real estate, which is extremely popular and very high production value. I loved it. It's called Sleepless Rangers. Will be also interesting to know a talk a little bit about that as well. And before I introduce Vita and welcome Govind to this podcast, let me just make a plea to all my listeners out here that this podcast is all about PropTech, where we talk to CEOs and founders. And I would love you to show us support by liking and subscribing it, which you have already done. Many of you have already done, and I know that many of you are repeat listeners as well. But with more likes and subscribe, this content reaches to a wider audience. And also on Spotify, we are available for audio format, and we have around 500 followers there. So leave a review there. It helps us reach to a wider audience there as well. With that, let's welcome Govind. Govind, welcome to PropTechBuzz. How are you doing today?
Absolutely good, Ravi. Thanks a ton for calling me here. And let me tell you, you've been doing a phenomenal job yourself. And since I also run a podcast on PropTech, I definitely have watched a few of your episodes, and there's so much of learning. I'm so glad that we are able to bring these stories out to the world. So kudos to you.
Thank you so much, Govind. By the way, before we talk about Insomniacs, why don't we learn a little bit about your background story? Okay, what's
Sure.
been your career trajectory and your transition story to build Insomniacs?
Sure. So it's not very long, I started out from an IT Surat. I had this passion for media and media spaces specifically, and the journey led me to Ahmedabad, where I got stumbled upon real estate for the first time. So there was a advertising agency which used to operate specifically in real estate space called Init, where I started understanding that what are the how do you really market a real estate proposition to the world and to the customers. At that point of time, the learning was very small, but over a period of time, I went deep into it for the first 3 years, I realized there's a huge opportunity out there, and Ahmedabad may not be the right market for it, right? And that's where I decided that, okay, there's a huge wave of technology and digital coming in, and if I have to execute all these ideas, I may have to shift to Bombay. That's where Bombay happened. And in I'm talking about like the first love happened, and I started in 2011. 2015, I shifted here in Bombay, and when I started Insomniacs. And since then, the idea was very clear. My focus has only been a B2B, the B2B space, to be honest. Everybody has been into the B2C space. We knew that, the B2B SaaS market for India is a very difficult ride and terrain, specifically when you talk about the real estate domain. And that is where we have made our first blunder. We invested into a technology, possibility in the SaaS space, and we realized that the whole play is not going to be as easy as it looks. We cannot be really building a Freshwork or a Zoho here, with that kind of a speed. So we took a little bit of a backseat. We started investing a lot of time learning. So it was in 2019 when we really, decided that okay, what is the final shape that we're gonna take. And now where we are there in the journey, our proposition is pretty simple. We leverage technology, data, and content, these three specifically, because we saw nobody was doing this. It's a very niche market where we deal in. There are not too many players, less competition. It was a little bit of a blue ocean of a sort. And that's where we started building our tech stack. Our primary proposition in a one-liner, if you'll have to ask me, it is basically promising all the real estate developers and realtors that we help them reduce their customer acquisition cost by almost 50 to 60%. So that's the primary proposition on which we started growing. We were building it on it from 2015, but 2019, 18, 19 onwards, the tech was enabling our play much larger. And now, yeah, by 2023, we have quite a market share here, specifically in the city where we live in, which is Mumbai, where we sit with almost 20-25% odd market share. And Bangalore and Pune are the other key markets for us. Delhi is where we're penetrating now. This year target is to penetrate Delhi in a better way. So that's primarily the journey that I've had.
Nice. So I've spoken to around 100 PropTech founders. Never heard somebody who is focusing on reducing customer acquisition costs, because that sticks out, right? So how do you do that? How do you help reduce customer acquisition cost? What's your
Yeah,
let's talk about the problem space a bit. Okay, what's the
sure.
challenge for your client base, for your target customers, and what are they battling with? And then we come to your solution.
Sure. So, to be honest, when we were working with the real estate developers, we were operating with their sales and marketing team. While operating with these two verticals, we realized there are so many places where there's a huge amount of efficiency issue, data leakages issue, and nobody was paying much attention to it. CAD developers were using a certain CRMs, and they could be as good as Salesforce. But the problem was the whole efficient use of Salesforce was not there. It's still the best of the developers in India are not using 10% of Salesforce, what they subscribe for. And can be catchy is a very different case altogether. So we started our journey when people were still on the Excel sheets. The first layer was to make them understand what technology can do. We primarily found 5 places where we had to pitch in and make sure that we can work upon the data leakages and the efficiency problems. The level one was purely the way they spend on marketing. So typically in India, if you know, the real estate marketing is a play where people spend a lot on traditional mediums, which is the print and outdoor mediums, and there's no output metrics to it. That was the first problem that we realized, that we're spending, let's say, $1 million on a campaign, but what is the ROAs for that, which is return on ad spends? We cannot really calculate it. So this is one of the bigger problems that we went on to solve. It was also into the core offering where we knew if we are doing marketing, we need to have proper understanding of the key matrices. So that was a level one problem. The level two was once we have those data available to us, how efficiently can we get rid of this traditional mediums and plug in the new mediums where people are not paying much attention to, but with the help of technology, we can leverage it. So we created and we realized that what real estate developers' future is going to be in India. And after radar coming in specifically, how the consolidation will happen, how building brand would be important, how the brand loyalty, all these segments are going to be important. So our second area of efficiency and optimization came in there. Akhil came on your show as well. I saw he has developed Reloy. That is a similar space where we developed our second product, and that's where we saw the opportunity as well. And now we have changed. Like Reloy strategy is very different than what we have as. So it's a very fine synergy that I believe that we have gathered there. The third efficiency space was how the brokers are engaging with the real estate developers. So typically, what happened was, typically everybody is solving this broker aggregator, and every platform is solving the problem from a B2C point. We wanted to solve it from the B2B point of view. A real estate developer at any point of time is working with 10 brokers. They are sitting on a higher slab for brokerages. Instead of that, we went and we said, hey, why don't you reach out to 100 and drive more sales on a lower slab? So that's where your acquisition drastically comes down as well. So if 10 brokers will do 300 units with you, they are going to be sitting at 4% brokerage slabs. Why don't we split it into 100 brokers, maybe contributing 300, maybe contributing 400, but the net outlay that you will be ending up giving will not be 4%. It will be somewhere between 2 to 2.5%. So these are the customer acquisition major point where we saw. And then the last 2 layers was majorly to do with our core offering, where we started out as a lead gen in the digital marketing space. And we saw that, how the leads are getting generated, the number of leads which are eventually turning up at the towards the end, which is the site visit and the booking, there's a huge disparity. Like, 100 leads, only 10 will land at the site visit. How can we make it more efficient? Right? Every time that we add efficiency, there's a layer of customer acquisition cost coming down. That's why we built another product, which was a runaway success in COVID, which we built with a company called PropVR, which is there with Tanuj now, with Squires. So this was a partnership that we did, which this product really made us believe that technology in India can be sold. There's good money to be made. And that was the first success, to be honest, among all. And that's where we came in. And the fourth is when all the data comes to you from the sales point of view, from the third parties. I do not know whether you have interacted with a company called CRE Metrics, right? So they have a very important role as well. They give a lot of data on location data intelligence across the registration that happens across Bombay or Pune or Bangalore. And on that data, we can understand that, where the real customers are. So when we market our product, we actually market it to the right audiences instead of wasting money into the areas where there's no customer. And this was the fifth layer, which is the data layer. And we clubbed it all together. These were the five major play, and we started building our tech stack, solving these problems one at a time. So these five modules eventually turned into one larger, tool for all the clients that we started plugging it with. And the promise where we could deliver a reduced CAC was something that we started living. And now it's been what, three years, right? Specifically, when we have managed it. And one of the largest testimony has been our client retention. Any client who has joined us and been on our platform for around 3 months or so, more than 3 months, they have never left us, right? So that's the testimony for what we have built, I guess. And there's a huge opportunity in this space going forward with what's coming with the help of AI and NLP. And that's where now we're investing as well, and we are focusing. But as I said, it's a very niche space since it's B2B. We're enjoying the blue ocean play that we carry here. Not many people are actively looking into this. So yeah, that's where our premise comes from.
Excellent. So you mentioned about the problem space and also the solution space. It seems like you have multiple use cases that you're solving for. Is this one integrated solution, or you have different point products that you sell?
So it's an integrated solution which we call as totality engine. People can use one solution at a time as well, and they can use it in silos. So someone wants to fix their channel partner aggregation from a B2B point of view, we have a product for that. Someone wants to make sure that the marketing mix is optimized properly, we have a product for that. And these five products can be used as an individual or in unison, depending upon the need case of the developer and what stage he is in. You're on the mute, I guess, Ravi.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
So, Govind, let's talk about your business model, right? So, you said that is this a SaaS model? That do you have a subscription model to it, or is this add-ons, or maybe a bit about business model would be nice to know.
Yeah, so we primarily started as a SaaS model. We still remain to be a SaaS model, but we also realized that the rules and regulations across India for the real estate use case in different states are different. The operations, the flow charts, and the pathways are very, very different. And that's the reason, even at a Lead Square or a Salesforce or a Zoho, they have not been able to find the final acceptance to the CAT A, CAT B, CAT C player, because India is a very different, very hyper-local play. Rules, the government rules keep changing. So we realized that, the SaaS play, it was going to take a lot of time. So we do carry it. A lot of brokers across India and developers use it. We also started investing heavily onto the custom though it is totality is the OS that we have built. On top of it, you can customize it the way you really want it, and the customization possibilities are much larger compared to what any other platform in this domain was offering at that point of time. So a custom product is one of the largest use case USP as well, which has been built on totality OS, and the SaaS is picking up fine. But as I said, it's a little bit of a red ocean there. So we focus a lot on the custom built on our own operating software.
So what? Help me understand if this is attractive as a segment to offer, and then there are some players who are almost overlapping with what you're offering. You still call it as blue ocean. Why is it so much of a blue ocean? Is it a hard nut to crack where others find it difficult to enter? Do you have a secret sauce that you have cracked with the last several years of being in the business? Maybe a bit about competition and the landscape and the problem space that you're trying to solve would be helpful.
Sure. So at any point of time, Ravi, as I mentioned, our first investment in technology space was a CRM. We knew that we are not going to build a CRM, right? So we are not positioning it as a CRM as well, because CRM as a function, there's a particular alignment that people had. The secret sauce is something where we started from, where we knew that the number of campaigns for the marketing campaigns that we are driving digitally for the real estate in India is one of the largest. So we are one of the largest buyers for Google and Facebook inventory in India. Okay, and based on the location data intelligence layer, so that layer is about the historical data. We added our own layer of our own ongoing campaign data set. Now that became something which nobody has it, and nobody had at that point of time. So let's say in Bombay, there's a place called Worli. If I have to run a campaign for a 10 crore project there, because of our historical execution of the campaigns in the past, we already know the trends where the customers are based on the historical registration data as well as the campaign that we ran. Now, for us, any other developer, when they spend a crore, they will drive a 100, let's say 50 crore sale. We tell them that we can help you drive almost 100 crore of sales on the same amount. That became our larger pitch. That is where we started. That is what we are building upon as well. It was only at a later stage when we realized that the potential lies in other products as well. So if you look at the CRM space, yes, be it when I take the name of Zoho, Freshwork, Lead Square, Salesforce, everybody is there, and they have a must, like, all of them are having great amount of market share as well. But for us, our Ravi, I guess I lost you. Am I audible?
You're audible very much, Govind.
Okay, I'm really sorry. In between, I thought I lost you. Okay, so what I was talking about is exactly we realized that all the international players have been there. The opportunity lies in understanding the local markets better. We already had a foot in the door with what we built with our marketing mix platform, which was reducing the CAC invariably. The other opportunities, slowly and gradually, was something which we found. And when I talk about the broker aggregator for B2B, customer community aggregator for B2B, it isn't the market which lot many people were focusing upon. So I'm not going to say that we are a blue ocean, we're into a blue ocean play because nobody can enter. People never saw a great monetizing opportunity. It is only because of the core that we built on our first product, which we like in our totality as a product, that is called Marketing Signal. That product was our GTM, and on that we are able to now, when anybody uses Marketing Signal as a product, they inquire for the other four offerings as well, and that's where we are able to plug those in and do the upsells. So that has been one strategy. At any point of time, we were very clear that any CRM any developer has, so our platform can be plugged into a SAP, to Lead Square or a Zoho or Salesforce. We are not trying to take away the space where the CRM companies are already existing. So we built all our OS around our offerings, where we were typically solving these 5 issues, and these 5 issues could have been solved without building a core of CRM base on our platform. That's how we have taken our route in solving this larger challenge of CAC.
Just curious, because in Europe there are many proptech based CRMs. All right.
Yes.
My,
Yes.
my question to you is, and there's so many players here who are industry based CRMs, because again the lead generation is different for a real estate, and that's why it makes sense for some of them to build a proptech CRM. Could you shed some light on what the CRM usage behavior is for these real estate developers, and does a generic CRM like Salesforce or Zoho makes the cut for them? Is there a need to build a custom CRM for this industry? Could you shed some light on the CRM side of things?
Sure. So the challenge that we found was Salesforce is definitely a very great platform, right? It operates like an operating software itself. Any other third-party platform can come and plug in. The problem is their pricing, and that's where
Hmm.
the opportunity, right? Every developer who started using it because it had a fair name and they could believe in it, they started using it, but they realized for every integration, the APIs that has to be plugged in, the kind of charges that were coming are so high that they're not even thinking of integrating it anymore. Now they're losing a lot on the efficiency. They're aware, but then they're making their choices, and it becomes a huge friction for them. At the same time, the licenses cost over a period of time increases because of the team increasing. I know the cost that these guys are today putting in is way higher than what an Indian-based software company could be offering.
Hmm.
The problem is just that we saw there's a great opportunity when it comes to the pricing. So we
Hmm.
said that, and that's why we went to the Salesforce team, we went to all these companies to make sure that our plugins are sorted, and we are not into the space where they are in. We are not trying to, even go into where the territories that they are in. It is our local understanding of each and every locations that we are present in that is giving us the leverage. But when you talk about the CRM space as such, why an international platform is it viable? So I'll tell you, people are taking. Are they happy? They're using just 10 to 20% of what Salesforce can really offer to them. They are
True.
using it majorly for the LMS use case, right? Which is a very very primary use case. Any real estate company should be really using it. They don't use the feature in form of understanding the data points or marketing attributions. They are not really checking about what can happen, which call center. There are not many AI applications that have been built in terms of how do you judge which, if your call center team is efficient or not, right? How do you judge which sales team is efficient? So these things, Salesforce has built it. Nobody is using it because of the cost, and that's where those ancillary product offering that Salesforce had, we built on it for the custom use case of real estate, knowing the local markets, because how it operates in Bangalore, it is very different in Bombay. Okay, and that's where we realized that okay, that's where the opportunity area is, and we just hit it hard, and we are progressing there. Uh, so there are challenges for sure, but is there a money to be made? Definitely yes. And with the custom use case, yes, because the Salesforce benchmarks are so high, whatever that we charge for the Indian standards is totally cool and with fair margins that we are able to operate in.
Got it. Um, so you mentioned about some of these use cases that you're solving for as a custom offering. So how does the pricing of the custom offering measure? Is it based on volume, or is it based on the complexity of the project? What's the value metric for offering your custom solution to some of these developers?
So to be honest, since we say that it's a totality OS on which we build it. Now, depending upon the customization, the yearly charges could vary anywhere between uh, in Indian currency 10 lakh rupee a year to going as high as to 2 crore a year for the first year when the
Hmm.
deployment happens and the custom happens. But the beauty comes in the second year onwards where we offer certain packages every 6 months. So let's say we are building something with the help of NLP for the call center domain, where we have a mission that can we have the call center team in the real estate use case eradicated in the next 6 to 8 months. Now that whole deployment will be given to this custom guys as well in form of the retainer that we charge for year. That varies anywhere between as a basic package of 5 lakh rupees. That's all they have to give, and that's where we win the game because a sales force just to retain it at any point of time, an Indian real estate developer with a decent size of 200 people or 250 people will have to shell out anywhere between 80 lakhs to 1.2 cr, and
Hmm.
that's where it's the one-time cost where we charge, but the
Yeah.
later on every upgrades are given to them at a very fair value, and that's where a lot of time what happens even a lot of developments are being done at our end where people know that Salesforce plugins can be done, but the APIs will be expensive and maintenance will come at a cost. So people are choosing to do those developments with us, use our solutions, and get our packages. So that's the space we are operating at this point of time, and it will be very difficult as well for likes of Salesforce to beat the pricing that we are operating in. That's
Hmm.
how we have built our technology. So our headquarters is in Bombay, but our tech team is settled out of Bhavnagar, where the cost of operation is almost one by third. That's how we have optimized the cost for our technology. So there's a huge gap in terms of what anybody can do. And it's a real estate understanding at the end of the day. So we have had some larger companies as well, where we have been doing some custom built. Uh, I'm not supposed to take the name, but one of the top three developers in India, their whole backend technology on this for use case after ERP has been developed on our OS, and the leverage is just that where there's mighty company, one of the top five IT company of India was being pissed, but it is our understanding of that market because they were trying to operate in 3-4 different markets. They needed to know the know-how which we already had, and that became the larger base for us to win that contract. And once that story is out, we know there's a lot other developers that would be joining the journey. And as I said, the operations are totally different. from one company to other. There's no standardized processing. A lot of time people are working with mandate companies. I don't know whether you know the premise of the mandate companies. A lot of
No.
time people are just, I'll talk about that. Then there are times that people having their own sales team. A lot of time people are heavily dependent upon just brokers. Then there are a lot of times that people are dependent just on the bigger brokers like Square Yards, right? Tanuj has been on your show again. So the mandate companies is a new phenomenon from last 4-5 years where developers are outsourcing their sales and marketing to them to a third party company. Okay, so what happens here is, unlike retail, where the retail player can go and sell any inventory once they have a lead, they can take them to the 5 projects in one location. Mandate guys are exclusively on one particular project. They underwrite and they play on only on that inventory. They get a larger margin play as well, higher fees. But this way, what happens here is there's a huge dearth of talent as well in sales and marketing, even in a city like Bombay. So, what happens in tier 2, tier 3 cities is a different challenge altogether. So people have started outsourcing these problems to the professionals, and just the way a co-working operates on a efficiency value, that's the same way they realize that the sales and marketing team, when you do not have too much of project, it's just an overhead cost, and that's where these companies come in. Whenever that you have a launch, you plug in the right team, they will take care of it, and they get paid only when they do the transactions.
Nice. So are you one of those? Did you say mandate?
Mandate, yes, mandate.
So would you qualify yourself to be called as a
We work with all the major mandate companies across India. They are working with us, right? So almost 90% of the top 15 are there with us. We're working with them. We're the backend for them as well for their technology use cases, and that's where the GTM for us work pretty nicely, right? Because these guys are going and acquiring clients, and when they acquire the client, they need a tech solution. Our tech solution is what gets integrated, and that strategy has worked very well for us.
nice. So is sales and marketing the only function that is being outsourced to mandate, or there are other functions within the organization that are also being outsourced?
So a real estate developer, if you know, in India, typically most of the functions, if not a larger player, it gets outsourced, right? So a real estate developer has to get a plot, manage the funding, gets approval, do the licensing. But even a construction, a lot of big companies are outsourcing it to L&T or the local contractors, right? The architect will be definitely from, he will not be in-house architect. There will be a team for sure, but then there will be some big name or decent name which will be coming on place. Sales and marketing was a function which they used to be they used to carry with them before, but now the biggest of the developers have started outsourcing it because they have realized there's no great value chain there, right? The professionals who are coming there, they're gonna get the value against the transaction they do, and there's a hunger, and then they manage their team with a certain logistics, and the efficiency sets in, as I gave you the example for the co-working spaces. So that same logic with which even the largest of the players across India, now even Lodha has started putting at least some part or some product to a different mandate company, right? That's the beauty as of now, and I believe the future is mandate companies. India will not have real estate developers 5 years down the line who will be having their own core sales and marketing team. Marketing team at the top, maybe yes, who can do the felicitation, take care of the brand and the guidelines, and work with these mandate companies. But definitely no sales team. There will not be a marketing team which will be a bigger team than 1 or 2 people in the real estate in India, the way it is shaping. And that's the real transformation, and that's how it makes it very different than how US market operates or any other market operates. So when you said Europe is a market, if you look at US as a market, it's a lot different. It's a lot mortgage driven market. It's a secondary play which fits in. India is lot primary driven because of industrialization, the whole urbanization theme still being there. Other 10 to 15 years to go for it. Till the time it converts into a secondary market play. But the primary market is evolving, and I believe there's good money to be made solving the problem without any exponential ask. Just saving the money for the developer and taking a cut for it, and that's where the value chain that we found a value chain there.
Right. So what's your ideal customer profile then? Are they primarily working for developers? Are they your primary customers, or there are this growing breed of mandate companies, or a mix of both? Could you give us a list of the kind of customers you?
So I have three. If we'll have to look at our customer right now, it's of course started with a real estate developer 2018-19 onwards, it was a mandate play where we started betting heavy. We started working with them very closely because we knew this will be the future. And so far now, we can really conclude it. It was a right bet to take at that point of time. And now, apart from that, there is a huge money to be made, we believe, because of the whole did we lose?
We lost for a second. I did not know something.
Okay.
Something.
So yeah, so three stakeholders. It's
You mentioned about there's a lot of money to be made, and then I lost you.
okay. So the basically three stakeholders. The third one where the money is to be made is the broker market. Just like US, where a JLL and other big companies came into being, India is also going to see the same. If you ask me, the local companies will be able to make larger impact than JLL or a Cushman. I will say yes. JLL and Cushman will remain great when it comes to the leasing market, right? But the primary market is going to be dictated by the local guys who are doing good. In that capacity, like, a company like Squareas is the largest in this. There's Property Pistol. I saw, he's been also there on your platform. These guys are doing good. But then there are a lot many others who are coming in. And that's where we are now working with them. Like our premises, can we be helping, a smaller broker to turn into a larger phenomena and make them enter into top 15 broker of India? And we have the means for that with the tech and the lead gen capacity. So that's all. Like, if you look at any broker profile, for 100 rupees they make, it's 30 rupees which goes into the lead gen business and generating leads. Other 5-10 rupees to make sure that technology is in place for the proper efficient planning. So that's the pie where we contribute to. And it's a broker as a segment is emerging. We have just entered into it almost 8 months back. It's a very fair start. But we see huge potential for us to grow in that space as well. So three stakeholders to summarize.
Good. So there is you have this infrastructure which is Totality OS, and then there is a overlay of customization, right? So how much of that is the split for customization? The reason I'm asking this is, how do you have predictability for your business, like scalability, just as any SaaS business would have, and because it also helps you in scale, repeatability of the business model, right? So is this something that you that is easy for you to repeat on scale across not just India, maybe outside India and stuff like that? Could you shed some light on that complexity?
So to be honest, anybody will go to, they will always say SaaS brings scalability and don't look anywhere else. But at the same time, I'm a very clear person. Is money is what we chase. Very clear, right? We need to survive. We need to thrive, and we need to make money at the go. We have not raised money, right? We may on the line we may, but so far we wanted to build because of the network that we have built so far for ourselves. A lot of developers and the fraternity accepts us. Anything that we bring into the market, people are ready to experiment with it. So we wanted to leverage it. We have worked very hard to build this network. And till the time, we are really not in a very dire need. We wouldn't raise till the time our, path to the next level is very clear. So currently, we knew that, okay, the customer business may not be as scalable, but the money that to be made there was very good. And what happened now is, over a period of time, we have done so much installations. More or less, most of the scenarios we're already aware about. So if the tech platform is similar, it's not too much of challenge in deployment and for us to have a fine tap even to make good margins into the custom builds. So that's the play, to be honestly. So does it mar our scalability possibility? Yes, it does. But it gets offset with the margins that we are making and the money we are able to extract. And there's a great learning, as I said, when we have to look at the pan-India play in the future, we need to know each and every market, right? So when we work in Bhubaneswar, we get to know only when we work on those tech products and these developers solving their problem. So, the reason why India has not seen a very great pan-India transaction player coming in, because of this very reason. Every location is very different. Now, Mumbai is very different than Thane. Thane is very different than Mumbai. So we got to work, and we are young, so we want to leverage it. We are not in a hurry to make the killing today, and we are, just as I said, network is what we are leveraging, and people are trusting. We're delivering great results to the people. So that equity we're enjoying. So there's no rush to beat things and disrupt things. So we are definitely not that team. We are in a very big rush to disrupt everything today and maybe not have money in our pockets. We love to have money in our pockets so that
No, that's
there's a
that's
yeah.
quite wise of you. And also, if you are able to retain your existing customers, then
Yeah.
nothing like it. And then there's word of mouth, and then they recommend other customers and stuff like that.
Sure.
How's so? Even though you mentioned about that this is blue ocean, but still, let why don't you shed some light on the competition in this space? Like, are there other players who are emerging who are also in the same space like you? What
Yeah.
makes you stand out? What Okay, so you said that you are well aware of the industry and the domain expertise is something that is your strength. But still, what does the competition look like, and how many players can thrive in this space and stuff like that?
Yeah, so the marketing signal as a first product of ours, it doesn't. We are the only player in this player, right? Meta and Google both developed their own product, and we were the first people who got to work upon it. So we developed our own AI capabilities on top of what Meta and Google had developed for the real estate use case for India. And since we got to do the pilot, and we already had a great amount of campaigns churn in the past, we would build it faster. Nobody else entered in this space at that point of time because the companies which were working with Google and Facebook, they didn't have the tech capabilities then.
Hmm.
So that was a layer one of what you call as a barrier to entry. You got to be aware about what Google and Facebook are building, what their solutions are. So there were only 5-6 companies maybe in that space at that point of time, but not any of them were having the tech capabilities to build this part. So that's where we leverage it. So that became a pure blue ocean. Then the second, community management, I believe, as I told, Rely, Akhil, he has a SaaS product there, and that's what we do a custom build there. So for us, he opens up the market. For everybody who wants to graduate to a larger play, that's where the custom gets in. So again, in this space, invariably, apart from Rely, there's nobody else in India. If you would have interacted with him, you would have said that there's no competition that he's really having at that point of time in this space, right?
That's
And
true.
that's a fact.
Yeah.
You got to see, real estate is very amazing, but everybody's moving to a transaction play. But there's a lot in the ecosystem to be actually experimented with, and that's what we looked at. Very small things, but together they're building a 1.5 billion opportunity from where we look at it, right? So we are looking at a larger share there. Are we there yet? No, we are very far from where we want to be, but. No, as I said, the second product is that. The third is same. The broker aggregator. The law is the only company which has something of similar kind. So there's not much competition. At the same time, this race is going to take a lot of time for adopt, but other 2 to 3 years, it will take a larger shape. So yeah, typically when you look at the core offering, when you said that the custom between our SaaS, currently our revenues will be split as 25-75, 25 via the SaaS offering and 75 via the custom. 3 years, 4 years down the line, we believe it will be reverse use case. But to win the game there, we need to make sure that we make the inroads with custom. So yeah, any tech guy, my CTO was totally against it to use this strategy to have a custom built solution. For 1-2 years, we didn't do it, but then we knew that it falls into a GTM. We will emerge and win late, but we will eventually. So
Got it.
with that thought process, I'm watching.
Okay. I saw you were in a Meta panel, right? You just this
Yes.
week or last week? I do
Yeah,
not
just
remember.
day before, like
Day before, yes. So what's exactly? Could you break that down on what exactly do you do over as a layer on top of what Meta and Google offers? So could
yeah,
you
sure.
let's
Uh,
deepen that. Let's understand what is it that you are bringing in on top.
I will tell you. That's a very interesting proposition. And since we have done a pilot on it for the last 1.5 years, I was there at Meta conference to speak about that
Right.
itself. So see, the fundamentally what happens in e-commerce, you are a customer, you land on a website, you do add to cart, and you transact. If you are not doing add to cart, you're doing add to cart, but you're not transacting. The via remarketing, Facebook, Google ads can chase you back.
True.
Real estate is not that. Real
Mm.
estate has got 4 points. You get the lead. You got to first qualify it by making a manual call. And that's where I said, right, there's a huge efficiency loss there. The real estate developers get a 10,000 rupee guy to call on that lead, which is going to buy a 1 crore rupee home. A 10,000 rupee guy who doesn't even know what that location is and that project is. He's got a script to narrate. But this guy eventually tells us whether the lead was qualified or not. The stage 3 is, so till this point it's still fine. But what happens, the customer comes to the site 1 week down the line, 1 month down the line. This data never gets to anybody. The CRM has it, but the Facebook and Google AI was never getting it. What happens in e-commerce, the moment there's an add to cart and transaction, the Facebook and Google get a trigger that this guy transacted. Now, because of that, they're able to target, their AI is able to target those profiles much better. But in real estate case, it wasn't happening.
Because
right?
they go offline. They go offline, right? That's why there is no
Yes.
retargeting ways. Okay, got it. Yeah.
So you can't target the customer. So what happens for, let me tell you that, there's a project which is 10 crore project, but an auto guy, autowala has actually put a lead there. Now for Facebook or Google, for them, it's a customer.
Right.
Now what our system does, what we've built on what they have, what we call as CAPI, the layer 1 is, of course, we are able to send the signal back to Google and Facebook AI to tell them, hey, these profiles are bad, these profiles are good, so target here. And that's where we are optimizing and delivering better results with what Google and Meta has been able to do. Now we are partnering with other platforms as well to build a similar data science in their data engine. Other platforms can do the same as well with whatever profile that is available to them. So we are able to optimize this part of the course. The second layer that we developed on our, like the other AI model that we developed is, because of this, what we are able to give to the real estate developers is a better way of putting money on digital. So if you'll ask me to break down, currently a real estate developer invests 20% of their marketing budget on digital, 80% on everything else. Okay, we believe the market in two years will be opposite with all the AI, getting even better leverage. It will be 80% digital. And at that point of time, people need those systems where they can understand. There will be so much of data available, they will not be able to have actionable insights. So what we did on the layer of Meta and Google, we are able to give actionable insights in terms of telling them that if you have 1 lakh rupee more to invest and you want more bookings, this is where you should invest. But if you have 1 lakh rupee more and you want more site visits, this is where you should invest. So the platform is like, if you know Zerodha, where it gives you a nudge on where should you park your money in which mutual fund so that you can get this ROI, this interest, right? In a similar way, we have done it for the marketing use case. Nobody in India has done it, and that's where we have a barrier to entry. This is a barrier to entry. We are ahead of the market by almost 3 years. So the largest player in this, play cannot enter and compete with our marketing. Like we have ran campaign with more than 200 odd CR so far. Now that's something that the biggest of the players do not have it, even as a marketing budget currently with the scale that is there. So yeah, that's where we believe there's a great value chain. We're creating a market niche there.
Very nice.
So that's what you asked for, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So real estate marketing is very different from any other marketing, isn't it?
True that, because the blazer that you're wearing, I bet you there are 1,000 other people on the planet Earth who have that in their wardrobe or either on their shoulders, right? But the real estate projects are always a 7 kilometer to 10 kilometers range. The 70% of the consumption happen very hyper local between the 7 to 10 kilometers range, right? It's only the 30% which comes from because of some trigger, because my job has been shifted to this place, or some trigger event has happened, like my wife is is moving there more, or my family is my parents have come in. So 70% absorption is very local. So typically we do not, this is a limitation as well, when we do the marketing for a particular project, we have to target a very local area. We cannot go pan India. Very few times we have got projects where we can do pan India marketing, right? As I said, for every other product, the consumption could be very universal. Real estate, like even an automobile is not like that, right? Automobile, if you look at it, you launch a car, but it can be absorbed pan India. It is only the dealers who market it though on local level, because a guy who will be there in one location, they can market at 50 kilometer. That's where he's going to get the audience. So they use hyperlocal strategies. But at the end, there's a layer of the car manufacturer marketing as well. But real estate is very different, where they can't. Like, a Bombay guy cannot market it in Delhi. There's no point. A residential home being sold in Delhi, it will be, but it will not be effective enough. So yeah, that's the difference between the hyperlocal play.
Got it. Cool. So let's now talk about a little bit of Gyan, because this is a business podcast, right? So and you have come a long way, and I'm sure you have learned it the hard way as well. So maybe since other listeners are also emerging PropTech founders, startup founders, they would try to get some wisdom from you. What has worked for you in your business growth? Maybe let's start with what's the scale of your business today, if you're okay with it, okay? Or maybe you could
Yeah.
give some proxy numbers, just so as to say what kind of market you have captured and what kind of size of business you have had, and what are the growth strategies that have worked for you in the past? Is it through relationships? Is it through partnership? Is it through promotions and other things, so that listeners who are listening to it could benefit from it?
Sure, sure. So I'll give you. So the market. So there's no typical any clear data which has been given, but whatever that our team has managed to put in, the opportunity that we are chasing, which is purely the marketing being done by this real estate developers and broker. Last year, the overall spend, including the digital and offline, would have been around 1.2 to 1.3 billion dollars in India,
Wow.
in only in the top 8 cities. I'm talking only in the
Wow.
top 8 cities, right? This is the data that we collected. Now, what happened here is this a lot of this portion is going to this offline mediums, which is your print and outdoor. Distill somewhere, I believe what we realize that it's somewhere sitting around $150 million at best. Okay,
Hmm.
and all the Meta, Google, and the third parties, everything combined in the top 8 cities. That is what we could collate.
Hmm.
Now, what's our share in it? To be honest, and if we we do a lot of offline buying as well. But let me focus on like where the real buck is. So in this 150 million, last year we would have done around 5.5 million via us. That has happened via us. That's our share in that currently, right? As I told, it's a very fragmented market. So when
Hmm.
I operate in Bombay, I can only operate in Bombay. Though of course here it is a big opportunity, but then it's very fragmented as such. Uh, so that will be our share. That is what we would have ran last year.
Hmm.
Uh, our overall revenue, if you really look at the top line that we had last year, was $4 million.
Hmm.
And typically that's where we make money from this, and there are a few ancillaries as well, like the technology and this the digital lead that we have. Apart from that, content is one of the major layer as well, where we make a lot of money, right? That's zero point 0.5 or to $0.75 million comes from there. That's our breakdown in terms of how the content is
So,
something where we are.
so help us understand the content piece a bit.
Yeah, so that's a bet. I'll be honest with you. So I'm not gonna say that that's a it's 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 a bet that we are playing for the future. We believe that the home search market is not gonna be about the search portals. It's going to be a lot driven by the content creation in terms of the text, in terms of the video, right? So there's a lot of automation, of course, that's happening in this space, but we
Hmm.
are investing very heavily at this point of time to create content for the real estate developer. Currently we charge for
Hmm.
it, but in the future we really believe that the searches will not be relegated to a typical like what a 99 acres magic bricks are doing today, that you buy, you
Yes.
put 4 bhk and you have some data. Can you make a decision on it? You're just a classified at the end of the day, right? So
Hmm.
we are betting heavy on it that just the way we buy a car. When I have to buy my car, I spend a lot of time reading, viewing about what my experience is going to be, what other
Hmm.
people are reviewing that, and those are video content. So video
Right.
content for real estate has nobody has worked in this space at all, right? Making it a very formidable and doing it at scale. So what we're
Hmm.
trying to solve is, can we do it at scale? And that's a huge bet that we want to play for the future, where the search platforms would not be just giving those static communication. They will also be fueling the video-driven experiences given by the micro influencers, and and I'm not talking about the way US does it. A lot of agents where you have your sole inventory because it's primary market here. One inventory is available to a lot many people. But the micro influencer use case,
Hmm.
when put to use at large scale, maybe there's a great market. So that's where we have started. But and we now with the AI, we believe that there's a lot of automation that's possible, and this business can be converted into scale. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's what something we're experimenting. It's a pure bet, and none of the business we do is like just invest, invest, invest. We always make sure that in the journey we are making money, but the moment we get the right at that point of time we scale. So in this vertical we're not I'm not gonna say that hey, I have a solution, I'm really gonna scale.
No, I
This is
get it. The reason I'm smiling is you got me excited. So I have I have a couple of friends who have built the same Okay, I'm just drawing parallels here, who have
Sure.
built the same for travel industry. Okay, so all the Airbnbs that you see, the even the travel search is broken. Okay, the same filter
Yeah.
does not work because the new millennials, they
Yeah.
are exposed to video content. They are TikTokifying their experience, right? So they are Instagramming their experience. It's all about reels. Okay, and the old media, the listing services is passe. Okay, so now
Yeah.
people want in the form of feed in terms of video content. So
Yeah.
they built, they just got a $5 million funded. It's called Unravel, and they actually
Wow.
partner with influencers who create this real content, and this entire feed is video first, so there is no search, there's nothing, and it's based on discovery, based on uh, which of these destinations, which of these great looking locations and hotels and resorts come up and are more engaging to view.
Yeah.
And that's why I smile, and that's why I see that I can actually connect the dots, and the same would happen eventually for the piece of land that you would want to acquire.
I'm very bullish. I'm very bullish. So at the Meta conference, there was a special dedicated section that we had on Reels, right? And the
Mm.
things that's going to happen with it. So whatever that Apple Vision Pro is bringing, I'm not commenting on that. There's a huge different possibilities altogether. But with what Reels potential is and YT shots and the traction that we are able to get there, we have done certain experiments. It is not. We are already engaging with a lot many content influencers in the real estate domain in India.
Mm.
We are having already a good pool of 15 major influencers as of now, which we have in our channel. Now we are trying to test it. That's the reason in our office we made a studio where all these influencers can come and shoot content,
Nice.
and then we are helping them to go out and shoot the real estate projects. But yeah, we got to templatize it, we got to standardize it, we got to scale it. So those are the solution. Our tech team is working as of now.
No,
We let
I will
yeah,
connect you. I will connect you with these guys from Unravel.
I'd love to.
They have gotten much ahead in their roadmap, and they got very good funding. They're getting a lot of press and stuff like that. It's the same play. Okay, what you are doing, and it would actually accelerate your road mapping and validate a lot of things that you're already doing.
Sure.
Cool. I got very excited on that one. Excellent. Anything else that yeah? Did I stop your flow of
No, no,
thoughts?
no. So that's pretty much it, right? So the 4 million revenue play is where we're sitting as a now the top line that we had last year. This year we are looking at going for 100% growth. I believe we have built some amazing tech, which is already the first quarter is sitting at 100% growth trajectory as of now. So we're bullish with what we have been building, and we were slow, as I said. That the idea is not that we're not hungry, we do not want to scale, but we didn't want to disrupt what we have built. Right, that we are very clear about, and at no point of time getting into a scenario where we have to let go of the team. So those are the things as a founder, my co-founder, we're very clear
Very
that
good.
those principles build our company as of now, and we're
Yeah.
living it. And yeah, those are the numbers I believe as you wanted to break it down. 1.5, 1.2, 1.3 million dollar on the top. 20% of it is majorly the digital play, and yeah, we're sitting. Last year would have done around 5.5 million on the digital between Meta and this
Got it.
Google. So
Got it.
yeah,
Nice. So yeah, I was talking about your success story, right? So what has worked for you over the years? What I see is your business foundations, your business fundamentals are very strong, very grounded. Okay, and I always admire founders who have these strong ethics, who are grounded, who have controlled expansion, who are capital efficient. Okay, who talk profitability and stuff like that. And suddenly
yeah,
these traits are becoming more acceptable.
yeah.
They should have been acceptable always, but now we are talking more about that. But what has been your growth reasons? What are the strategies that have worked for you to acquire growth of this scale?
Yeah, so to be very honest, the point number one would be a constant learning that me and my founder have been into. That is really needed, which gives you a little bit of a possibility of staying ahead of the curve. Because the second layer, which is making relationship, business relationships are always made not because I look good or I'm able to add value to the table, right? So the second part, which is relationship, is triggered by the point number one, where we were on a constant learning. We try to remain ahead of the curve. So the real estate developer, the relationship that they established with us, it was about learning. and believing that there will be some experiment, we will fail, sometime we will succeed, but these guys are hustlers, right? So these guys will not fail. So we have failed a lot of time, but the relationship made sure that people are giving us different chances. And second time we know that we have to succeed, so we give it all that we can, right? So these two layers have been very clear in terms of growth. And the third is having a typical, very clear growth mindset, right? So learning and all, which adding knowledge is one thing, but the growth mindset is our fundamentals were very clear. We went to the developer and we said, we want you to become rich, right, as rich as possible, so that we can become rich in the journey, right? So our play was our clients first always, and that's a very famous line that we always use, because we cannot become big till the time our clients are not successful.
Yeah.
Right. So we have seen their growth journey from a company which has done 100 crore. 5 years we are putting them to 1,000 crore. A company which is doing 500 crore, they are going to 3,000 crores. And then the relationship is there. The pie increases for the marketing. Our money always, gets the benefit. So these are the three layered approach that we have carried. Nothing beyond that I will really substantiate it with. Being ethical. Being transparent. Definitely. That those were our GTMs, to be very honest. When we entered the market, we saw there were many malpractices, unethical plays that were happening because people didn't understand the whole digital play, technological play, and we added a lot much transparency into this. And that's the reason I believe with Meta and Google also we were able to make some great relationships, because they saw that we were not the people who were putting a bad name, because we were really working hard to add transparency and deliver results, which eventually makes their use case also pretty good for the sector that we deal in.
Excellent. So let's talk about this space, because again, you are pushing the envelope in this space. You mentioned about some really cool use cases that you're exploring and investing. Where do you see this space evolving in the coming years? Okay, where do you see the biggest disruption happening? Is it on the marketing front? Could you shed some light on the edge of this space?
So I believe I'll not fool around. All these guys who have come to my podcast as well. This has been a very simple question as well. Why India doesn't have a Zillow? Right? This is a question that has been there on my mind for a very, very long time. So there are two models which I really appreciate out of what has happened into the Western world. One is Zillow, and the second company is called EXP Reality. Okay,
What's
so
yeah.
EXP Reality, right? So I love their model. Means more than Zillow, I love EXP Reality models a lot more.
Could you shed some light, since you brought it up? What is it that you like about them?
So it's very clear business. So one, it is not very heavy business in terms of your overheads, right? So they are very clear that they are building technology. They're leveraging the lead generation. They're leveraging education. There are three layers to make sure the brokers or the agents who are available in the market, they can sit at home and do most of their working without having a big teams as well, right? So and leverage as much of their tech lead generation prowess to drive their sales. So typically in the past, the models like Keller Williams and Remax in the US market has been there. But what EXP managed to do was bring down the efficiency, increase the efficiency by making sure that they are totally virtual. They're not very cost-led model, right? They're not hiring many people on their payrolls to do the transaction. They're relying upon the people who are already good at it, that they're professional, and they're aiding those professionals with the revenue share, right? And that I believe is a great business model for somebody in this space. If you ask me if there's anything that we would want to make, that would be it, right? So eventually can we felicitate and become the experiality? That would be a very exciting part. Are we working towards it? Yes. Are we anywhere near? No. So I'm not gonna say that we are near to that. But these are the last two biggest surprises, and I believe the largest disruption which will come, I believe it will be in the transaction business, because there will be other proptech businesses can be bringing disruption in many other things. But where we are the core, where we are involved, I believe the largest disruption will happen in the transaction business. Definitely what Tanuj with Squarias, these guys are doing, Piyush and we together. That's really something I'm betting upon, because they're very clear that what they want. They are investing into right products. They're building the right backward and forward integrations. If I have to put my money onto the existing one, I believe they are onto something nice. There is other company, in form of Zapkey and Dextep, who are, leveraging data as a GTM. That's very interesting. But the disruption, if you ask me, it will come in the transaction space. Nobody is really close to solving the larger problem. So, when I was engaging with Square as Tanuj, he also mentioned that, currently their market share is about 2%, 3%. Can it go to double digits?
Yeah,
I
true.
believe anybody who takes it to a double digit,
Yeah.
that person has cracked it.
Mm.
And is there a consolidation possible in the market in India? Just like what is there in US with Zillow, Trulia coming together, and what EXP is doing on their own. I definitely am watching for it. I don't see a reason why we will not have a disruption of that sort, and that will not be a classified company. That will not be a company. Someone will have to have a proper, clear understanding of full stack solutions. So I totally believe in it. The kill solution will come out of full stack. And current classified companies also, to be honest, they can convert into something larger if they are integrating fine with a full stack solution, and that's the opportunity for them. So it's a transaction space totally getting disrupted with a 2-3 major player merging, taking the 50% market share is my larger bet upon.
So, what has been your highs and lows in this journey? Maybe shed some light there. That will be interesting to know.
Okay, so I believe I'll be I keep sharing it, so I'm not going to hide. The high and the low both have been in the tech, right? There was a point when we went too deep with it. There was a point, we had a choice that, should we raise money? And we decided, we believed that, what other core businesses are doing fine. So we took a lot of debt, good amount of debt. And for whatever scale that we had at that point of time, and I'm talking about 2019, when we pick it up. 4 months down the line, there was Corona, right? So that was a challenging time. We thought that, okay, how do we escape out of it? Because the AMIs are going to continue. But you won't believe it. Like, March, we had to shut the office. April, we were a little down. May was one of the best months that we ever had. And that's where I knew. So my low was only 1 month old. I'm not going to fool around. And but yeah, it looked like it's a death in, like it's a final nail in the coffin. Because we had no idea, like, how do we pay the debt? How do we do whatever? And debt, everybody said it's not a right structure. We believed because we had a rolling cash flow business. So we took that risk. So luck has a huge role to play. I'm not saying that, COVID was lucky. It was about us finding the right opportunity was lucky enough at that point of time. So when I told you about a product,
how did things turn around within 3 months? Because COVID, the impact could have been stronger, no?
Yeah. So again, relationship. So March, everything got shut. April, there was a project that we had in hand. It was a huge project where the state government was involved as well, of Maharashtra. And we did that, and we told the developer that, believe in us. Whatever that you will do post COVID at 2 crore expense, we can do it in 20 lakh maybe. There are certain trends we are seeing. Would you allow us to experiment? He gave us a tranche. We proved some numbers. And within a month, you won't believe there's kind of excitement that his project got. Because one thing happened in COVID, people started changing their mindset from smaller homes. They wanted to go to a home. From a rented home, they wanted a home. So those who could afford and could crack a deal, they were. Like, there's a huge. And that by April end became a huge case study. For the whole market. So April onwards, May onwards, we started getting so many. I've never had so many inquiries coming for business use cases. And we just deployed our team, got into action mode, went heavy with technology investments, and there was one more tech product which I told, right, with the company called PropVR. We had developed, went to Square Yards. That product started like flying off the shelf, and we did a lot on between these two. And yeah, the COVID year was one of the we grew on a fair base almost 150% that year, with a very bad, not so good April month. But yeah, and from that time onwards, we have been marching as much as we can. But it was Corona, COVID, where people really understood real estate guys that technology is important. Digital is the way to go forward. So yeah, those are the things. So that would be my story for the high and low. Everything happening in 3 months. Yeah.
Excellent. So now that we know where you are, how does the next couple of years look like for you? So where do you see in Insomniacs? Also, very interested to know about the name that you came up, Insomniacs. Are you really letting your team work so hard, or don't let them sleep? And
No, so we have one simple rule: don't leave the day if the task is not done. Right? Insomniacs is the one who cannot hit the bed till something that he promised to deliver is not delivered. Right? So you can, if you're delivering it early, fair, you can go early today if needed, right? That's a fundamental for the team culture. For us, it was very simple. We worked with real estate developer. I had worked in the past, and I realized these guys build the buildings, deal with the licensing, they do the banking work in the daytime. The marketing guys are calling in the evening only, right? So, and then they were like, can you deliver something? Can you do something? So we realized that at the very start, my career was about the evening shift. So I realized that real estate that will become our moat when we are very small. You got to have a differentiator. This became our differentiator. It was something which could create conversations. That just the way you asked, a lot of people ask, and then we had a point validity that real estate operates in this way because it's family-driven businesses. A lot of times it's family-driven businesses. It's not professional always, right? So, and I started from Ahmedabad where everything was family-driven. So yeah, that's how the name came in as Insomniacs. There's one more question that you had asked. I missed out, I believe.
Yeah. So, how does the next year or 2 years, 3 years look like for you on the roadmap?
Yeah. So to be very honest, if there's anything that we are gonna be trying towards is where we believe that the larger focus is try to see that can we build an EXP in India, and that journey has started for sure. I don't see that it's happening in the next 2 years for sure. For us right now, this journey is that there are few interesting things we are on to. We are just enjoying the journey. I'll be very honest with you. So this is not an answer a lot of people like, but I will see my LinkedIn as well. This is something that I tweeted when we turned 8. That there's a great beauty, there's a great kick in what we do. There's not a single day we are not excited. So we're enjoying the ride. It is the timeline that we have kept, me and my partner, is when we turn 10. At the time when we turn 10, we will finally nail it that, okay, now this is the destination we have to go to, and then let's work hard for it. Till time we don't turn 10-year-old, we are 8 right now. So till that time, we don't want to conclude where we're heading. The journey is nice, the money is nice. So we're making the best that we can. And but EXP is one thing that we know from now that, okay, this journey that we are moving towards, it is that. But once we turn 10, we'll close on it. That, okay, this is it. Now run.
Okay. Excellent. Well, this brings us to the end of a very fascinating conversation with Govind. Govind, thank you for taking time out and sharing the wealth of knowledge and wisdom that you have acquired the hard way and transforming the industry and contributing to this industry. So I cannot thank you enough for being on my show.
Thanks a lot, Ravi. I hope that I was to the point. Whenever that your questions were nice, and the narratives, the journey that we have lived. Yes, I've really enjoyed it, and that's how I wanted to put it out to you. And I hope the viewers will find the narrative equally similar, just the way we tried enjoying it. And for you, I hope it's a fair content that we have managed for today. And I know it's a very, very niche field, as I mentioned, that people, very rarely we get people who can talk on the same subject line. But all the PropTech companies right now in India, right? One of the best part is that whatever that we're doing with the developers, a lot of PropTech companies in India who have come to the podcast, we're now helping them, working with them to help them into their marketing use cases as well. So not that part of the journey is not about monetization or making money. It is about making sure that the industry sees things in a better way and understands. And I'm a big, I've taken big bets. I believe the traditional verticals and operations have to go away, and for that the tech-driven businesses have to grow. And one thing they're not very good at is marketing their propositions. So we help them a lot to make sure that how can they simplify it, how can they reach to the market on a larger scale. So yeah, and kudos to you for the journey that you have taken. I would love to engage with you to understand where you're heading to with everything that you're doing. Yeah, we will keep that for the day. But thanks a ton, buddy.
Thanks so much, Govind. See you around. Bye-bye.
Sure. See you.